Good evening, Castlers. LDF07 here to cover the 2022 Independence Day Tournament. The game we're going to cover this evening is Jackpot Ja 101 with the white pieces against Warpathhunter with the black. Jack starts out with pawn to d4. Warpath responds with pawn to e5. The England Gambit is on the board. Now, the England Gambit is named after the famous actor Robert Englund, who played the maniacal Freddy Krueger monster back in the 80s. Now, of course, I'm joking, guys. The opening is actually named after the 19th century Swedish chess player Fritz Carl Anton Englund. But let's continue. D takes e5 is played, and then pawn to d6. Jackpot Ja 101 now has a pawn lead in material. Pawn to e3 from Jackpot Ja 101 is an inaccuracy because it gives away the e5 pawn for free. Knight f3 was actually the better move. However, Warpathhunter does not take the free pawn and instead develops his light squared bishop to e6. Jack then plays knight to f3, pawn to f6, e takes f6, knight takes f6, an equal trade of pawns. Knight d4 hits the bishop. Bishop f7 moves it to safety. Knight to d2. Pawn to c5 kicks the knight to f3. Warpath then develops his queenside knight. Bishop b5 pins the knight to the king. Queen to c7. Jack castles kingside. Warpath tells the bishop take a hike with pawn to a6. Jackpot Ja 101 takes the knight with check. Warpath recaptures with his queen and equal trade. You then get pawn to h3, pawn to d5, knight e5 hits the queen, queen e6, Warpath moves it to safety. Knight takes f7, queen takes f7, equal trade. Jackpot Ja 101 pushes his pawn to b3, Warpath castles queenside, bishop b2, pawn to d4, Warpath issues a pawn break. Pawn to e4, Jackpot Ja 1 doesn't want to trade. Pawn to h5. Queen f3 allows Jackpot Ja 101 to connect his rooks. Good move. Queen c7. Queen to f5 check. King b8. Knight to c4. Rook d5 is a blunder because it hangs his rook, allowing for e takes d5. However, Jackpot Ja 101 missed it and played queen to f3. I wonder what he was thinking. I'll have to ask him. Rook to g5 is then played by Warpathhunter. Bishop c1 hits the rook. Rook to g4 from Warpath. H takes g4. Jackpot Ja 101 gobbles up the rook. Warpath recaptures with his pawn. Jackpot Ja 101 then plays queen to g3, moving his queen to safety and trying to swap queens. Jackpot Ja 101 now leads by 5 material points. Pawn to b5 attacking the knight. But Jackpot Ja 101 plays the excellent move of bishop to f4, pinning Warpathhunter's queen to his king. Knight takes e4. Warpathhunter steals a free pawn. Bishop takes c7. Jack bags and gags the more valuable queen with a check on the king. King to b7. Queen takes g4. Jack takes a free pawn. And Jackpot Ja 101 now has a commanding lead of 14 material points. Knight f6 hits the queen. Knight a5 check from Jack. Warpath takes the hanging bishop, so now Jackpot Ja 101 leads by 11 material points. Queen to e6, putting pressure on the a6 pawn. Bishop to d6 blocks the attack. Queen f7 check threatens to win the g7 pawn. King to b6 attacks the a5 knight. Knight b7 is played by Jackpot Ja 101, but that's a blunder because it leads to the game-changing move of bishop h2 check. Castlers, it's a great move because it puts Jackpot Ja 101 in a perpetual check. What an outstanding eye by Warpathhunter to find this move. He turned a certain loss into a draw. And I'm going to show you right now. Jack continued with king to h1, which is forced. Bishop f4 check from Warpath, king to g1 played by Jack, and then bishop h2 check again by Warpathhunter. And it was here Jackpot Jaw 101 realized it was a perpet, and they both agreed to a draw after move 33 because there's not going to be any progress. You're just going to continue the same moves, and eventually the computer would stop it anyway due to repetition. So excellent, excellent move by Warpathhunter. Going back to 31, however, let's go back to move 31. Now, instead of knight b7, let's take that move away. If Jackpot Jaw 101 just plays queen takes g7, he preserves his win, continuing with the line bishop to h2 check, king to h1, rook to h7, knight c4 check, b takes c4, queen takes f6, with the check, bishop to d6, check, king g1, and then king to c7. The engine has white leading by at least 12 material points. Wow, even more on here. Look, it says plus 24. So great job snatching a draw from a certain win for Jackpot Jaw 101. And I'm sure Jack was extremely disappointed, but he'll learn from this game and come back stronger than ever. I'm certain of that. As it stands right now, let's go to the leaderboard. As it stands right now, Jackpot Jaw is in 4th place with 5.5 points. And this is all in Group 2. And Warpathhunter is in 7th place. He has 3.5 points. That's going to do it for this evening, Cascos. I'm LFO7 saying stay tuned. I'll see you soon. I'll have more action for you. Later.